They called Earthlings cute, until the cute one lifted a tank. People moved about with purpose. Children laughed as they played near the water tanks, and workers wheeled crates from one building to another. To anyone passing by, it was an ordinary human settlement, calm and peaceful. But above the quiet of New Haven, the sky was far from ordinary. A series of sleek silver ships hovered silently, their smooth surfaces glinting in the sunlight. They moved with a precision that was almost unnatural, gliding through the thin atmosphere with no sound or visible propulsion. From inside the largest ship, a group of beings observed the colony. They were tall, with elongated limbs and large, dark eyes that reflected the world around them like polished onyx. Their skin shimmered faintly, as though infused with light itself. "These beings are interesting," one of them said in a voice that carried a musical tone. It was not loud, but somehow the humans below could not hear it. So small, fragile, yet they move with confidence. Another tilted its head, studying a group of children chasing a rolling ball. "Yes, they are cute, harmless, I think. Little creatures with no weapons to challenge us," the first being nodded. "We will learn more, observe, but do not interfere. Let them show us their nature." Far below, Alex worked on a broken generator at the edge of the colony. He was a young man, wiry but strong, with dirt-smudged hands and a thoughtful frown. Unlike most of the colonists, he didn't flinch when strange lights flickered in the sky above. He had always been fascinated by the stars, imagining what might exist beyond their small world. Today, his curiosity burned brighter than usual. Alex straightened and wiped sweat from his brow. "If this old thing doesn't start soon," he muttered to himself, "I'll be stuck here all day." He pulled a wrench from his belt and adjusted the connections once more. Sparks flew and the generator coughed before settling into a steady hum. Alex smiled, satisfied, and turned to look at the sky. The silver ships shimmered, reflecting the sun in patterns that danced across the dusty streets. Children pointed and laughed. "Look, Alex." "Aliens," one of them shouted, though the word sounded more like a guess than a certainty. Alex knelt to the ground to meet the child's gaze. "I don't know if they're aliens," he said, choosing his words carefully. "But something unusual is up there. Stay close." The adults in the colony gathered in small groups, whispering anxiously. No human ship had ever been reported this far out in the expanse, and certainly no visitors had ever hovered so close without making contact. There was a mixture of fear and excitement in the air, a tension that made the skin prickle. Meanwhile, the observers in the silver ships were growing more intrigued. One of them extended a slender finger toward the colony, and a faint blue light traced the outline of a small hover vehicle parked near the edge of town. The vehicle lifted slightly into the air, spinning slowly, then settled back onto its wheels. A ripple of surprise passed through the humans below, though none could understand its cause. "See," the first being said, "they are curious, brave, perhaps more resilient than I initially thought, but still so small." The other being tilted its head again. "I am curious about that one," it said, focusing on Alex. "The one fixing the generator. There is strength in him, unusual for their kind." Alex, unaware of the scrutiny, finished repairing the generator. He flexed his fingers, testing his grip, and then looked at the townspeople who had gathered. "Everything's ready," he called out. "No need to panic. Let's just see what they do." The aliens decided it was time for a closer look. One of their smaller ships detached from the main group and descended gently toward the colony square. It hovered silently, casting a soft shadow across the buildings. A ramp extended from the ship, and a single figure emerged. Its movements were smooth and deliberate, scanning the surroundings with those large, reflective eyes. The humans froze. Some stepped back in fear, while others, including Alex, stayed put, unsure what to expect. Alex's heart pounded, but curiosity outweighed fear. He noticed the figure stop near the water tower, tilting its head as though examining the pipes and tanks. "They're watching us," a nearby worker whispered. Alex nodded. "Yes, but they aren't attacking, not yet anyway. Let's stay calm and see what happens." The alien ambassador moved closer to a parked vehicle and extended a delicate appendage. A faint hum filled the air, and the vehicle lifted slightly off the ground. The humans gasped. Children jumped back in alarm, and adults whispered urgently. Alex stepped forward, raising his hands in a gesture of caution, though inside he felt a thrill of excitement. The alien's attention shifted to Alex. For a moment, their eyes met, and the human felt an odd sensation, like the being was reading not just his body but his thoughts. Alex's curiosity flared. He wanted to know what they were thinking, why they had come, and what they truly wanted. Cute, the alien observer murmured to its companion almost as an afterthought. Yes, cute, Alex frowned. He didn't like the sound of that. Cute wasn't dangerous. Cute didn't inspire respect. And if they thought humans were just cute, they were about to be surprised. In the days that followed, the aliens continued their silent observations. They hovered over the fields, examined the water supply, and even studied the children as they played. The humans adapted quickly, going about their lives while keeping a wary eye on the skies. Alex became the focal point of their interest. He repaired, built, and even lifted objects far larger than anyone else could manage. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, Alex stood on a hill overlooking the colony. He held a piece of heavy machinery above his head, just testing his strength, and grinned to himself. They don't know what we're capable of yet, he whispered, more to the wind than anyone else. They think we're cute, but they haven't seen anything yet. Below him, the colony lights began to flicker on, one by one. Families gathered, children laughed, and the town seemed peaceful. Yet the ships above watched silently, unaware that their assumptions about humanity were about to be challenged in ways they could never imagine. The stage was set. The aliens had come, curious and confident. The humans appeared small, fragile, and, most dangerously, underestimated. And in the heart of New Haven, Alex prepared for a future that neither he nor the aliens could fully comprehend. Above the colony, the silver ships remained, glinting in the fading sunlight. One alien observer whispered again, almost to itself, "Cute, yes, harmless, we shall see." But Alex did not hear it. He only felt the thrill of the unknown, the pull of the stars, and the strength within him waiting to be tested. The world of New Haven had always been quiet. Now it was about to change forever. The morning sky over New Haven was unusually bright, the sunlight bouncing off the silver hulls of the alien ships that hovered silently above the colony. Even from a distance, the humans could feel a strange pressure in the air, a sense that something extraordinary was about to happen. The townspeople went about their morning routines with caution, glancing upward every few minutes, whispering among themselves. Alex walked through the main street, toolbox in hand, noticing the mixture of fear and fascination on everyone's faces. Children peeked from behind their parents, and merchants paused mid-transaction, eyes fixed on the sky. He felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. "It's time to see what they're really capable of," he muttered under his breath, not sure if he was speaking to himself or the aliens. From above, the alien ambassador observed quietly. Its dark eyes scanned the colony like a calm ocean, picking up every detail, the shape of the buildings, the movement of the people, even the tension in their muscles. To the alien, humans were interesting. They were small, fragile-looking, yet there was a kind of energy that couldn't be measured with their instruments. "Observe closely," said the taller alien, its voice soft but musical. "This one, the human in the dusty clothes, the one fixing the machines. He carries something unusual, strength, curiosity, resilience. He may not be as harmless as he looks." The smaller ship detached from the main fleet and began its descent toward the town square. The aliens moved carefully, trying not to frighten the humans too much. The ramp extended smoothly, and the figure of the ambassador emerged. It was tall and elegant, with limbs longer than any humans, and its skin shimmered like polished metal. The humans froze. Some gasped, some instinctively stepped back. Alex, however, remained still, studying the figure with careful eyes. He did not feel fear, he felt curiosity. "Hello," he said aloud, though he knew the alien could not understand. "I wonder why you're here." The alien did not speak, but extended a delicate hand toward a nearby hover vehicle. A quiet hum filled the air. Slowly, the vehicle lifted, spinning gently, then landed back on the ground. The humans whispered among themselves, unsure what to make of it. Alex took a step forward. "Okay, you're showing us your strength," he said, his voice calm. "But what do you want? Observation, study, or something else?" The alien tilted its head as if studying him. Alex felt an odd sensation, almost like the alien was reading him, not his words, but his thoughts. He frowned, unsure what to make of it. "You think we're small, fragile, cute," he said quietly, "but I wonder if you've noticed something you didn't expect." The alien's companion, hovering slightly behind, murmured a soft, musical sound. "Cute," it said. "Yes, cute." Its tone was almost amused. Alex's eyes narrowed slightly. Cute wasn't a compliment. Cute didn't demand respect. And he had a feeling that the aliens' mistake in judging humans could become very dangerous. Over the next few hours, the aliens continued to observe the colony. They moved vehicles, gently lifted crates, and even nudged livestock, all while the humans watched silently, trying to understand their purpose. The humans began to adapt, learning quickly that the aliens' movements were predictable. They started moving with calm efficiency, avoiding unnecessary fear while keeping a close eye on the ships. Alex, in particular, became the center of attention. He repaired broken generators, lifted heavy tools, and even tested the strength of large metal crates by moving them single-handedly. Every time he did, the alien ambassador watched closely, its expression impossible to read. Later, Alex climbed onto a small hill on the edge of the colony and looked back at the scene below. He could see children cautiously playing near the field, adults repairing buildings, and a few workers experimenting with lifted vehicles. Everything seemed normal except for the silent silver ships above. He felt a thrill in his chest, a mixture of excitement and the urge to protect his home. "They think they know us," Alex said softly, gripping a piece of scrap metal. "But they have no idea." Suddenly, a small drone detached from the main alien ship. It hovered just above the town square, scanning with a faint blue light. The humans froze, unsure whether it was dangerous. Alex stepped forward again, calm but ready. "Easy there," he muttered. "Let's see what you're made of." To the alien observers, Alex's composure was unusual. Most humans panicked in the presence of their technology, but this one, he moved with confidence, strength, and intelligence. The aliens began to exchange quiet murmurs. "Watch him closely," said the taller one. "There is potential in his kind, potential and unpredictability." As the drone descended closer to Alex, he studied it carefully. "It's small," he said aloud, "fast but weak. You're just a scout." Using a piece of metal pipe, he tapped it lightly, testing its response. The drone shifted slightly but made no attack. Alex smiled. "Interesting." The townspeople began whispering among themselves. Some thought Alex was reckless, but others were quietly impressed. He moved with a calm authority, giving humans a sense of hope. By midday, the aliens decided to make their first attempt at communication. A series of lights and sounds projected from the main ship, forming patterns in the air. It was like a language made of color and vibration. The humans could not understand it, but they sensed it was an invitation. Alex stepped forward, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. "I don't understand your language," he said aloud, "but I can see your intention. You want to know us. Well, we're not so simple." The alien ambassador paused, focusing its dark eyes on him. It detected something in Alex that its instruments could not measure: courage, creativity, and raw physical strength. "Curious," it murmured. "This one, he is different. There is power in him, unexpected." As the day went on, the aliens began to test the humans, gently nudging vehicles, moving objects, and observing reactions. Each time, Alex responded with calm ingenuity, solving problems in ways that were simple but effective. He lifted heavy crates, fixed broken machines, and even used debris to shield the townspeople from accidental collisions caused by alien tools. The aliens grew increasingly intrigued. "They are small yet resilient," the smaller observer said. "We expected weakness. But this human, he adapts." Alex, unaware of their discussion, felt a sense of pride. He realized that the humans had more than just brains or tools. They had instinct, courage, and creativity. That combination was unpredictable. By evening, the aliens had gathered all their observations. They hovered silently above the town, their reflective eyes scanning every movement. Alex stood at the center of the square, holding a large metal crate above his head to test his own strength. Children watched him in awe, adults whispered quietly, and the aliens, they began to sense that their assumptions about humans might have been wrong. "Cute, yes," one observer said softly. "Harmless, we are not certain." Alex set the crate down gently and looked toward the sky. "You think we're small, fragile, cute," he said aloud, his voice steady. "But strength isn't always what you see. Sometimes it's what you don't expect." As night fell, the colony lights flickered on, and the stars appeared one by one. The silver ships hovered silently, casting long shadows over the settlement. Alex walked through the streets, nodding to neighbors and checking on the machines and structures that might need repairs. He paused at the edge of the square, looking at the hovering ships. "They think they're watching us," he whispered. But maybe it's us who should be watching them. In the quiet of the evening, the aliens observed their new subjects with a mix of curiosity and caution. They had underestimated these small, fragile creatures. They had called them cute, and yet one human in particular had shown a strength that could not be ignored. The night was calm, but the tension lingered. Something had shifted. The humans of New Haven were no longer just passive observers of the stars. They were participants in a story that was just beginning. And Alex was ready for what was to come. The aliens had come to study, to understand, and perhaps to judge. But the humans, especially Alex, were quietly preparing to show that the galaxy's assumptions about Earthlings were not just wrong, they were dangerously wrong. Above the colony, the silver ships shimmered against the starlit sky. One observer murmured again, "Cute, yes. But strength, hidden strength, we must be careful." And Alex, standing tall among his people, smiled quietly to himself. The adventure was only beginning, and he had a feeling that no one, not even the aliens, would forget what came next. The morning light broke over New Haven, painting the dusty streets with a warm glow. The colony had become used to the silent, hovering ships that filled the sky, but unease lingered. Children no longer played near the square. Adults moved with quiet purpose, checking tools, machinery, and the perimeter. The aliens had not harmed anyone yet, but their presence carried an invisible pressure, one that told the humans to remain alert. Alex walked through the streets with his usual calm. His hands were smeared with grease from repairing a delivery vehicle, and his eyes scanned the surroundings constantly. He had noticed subtle changes in the alien ships overnight. Smaller drones had been deployed, moving quietly around the outskirts of the town, scanning structures, fields, and people. "They're watching everything," Alex said softly, mostly to himself. He knew the townspeople were listening. "Every move we make, every tool we lift, every crate we carry, they record it. But that doesn't mean we have to be afraid. It just means we have to be clever." From above, the alien observers communicated in soft, musical tones that humans could not understand. They discussed the humans' behavior, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. "They adapt quickly," one of the observers said, tilting its head. "They repair broken machinery. They solve problems we did not anticipate. The human in the dusty clothes, the one who lifts heavy objects, he is remarkable. But how far does this resilience go?" "Test them," the other replied. "Push them, see what they are capable of. They are cute, but we must understand their limits." The aliens began small experiments. Drones moved crates just out of reach, then gently nudged them toward children playing near the fields. Another drone lifted livestock slightly off the ground, testing reactions. The humans were cautious but clever. They avoided panic and used their intelligence to manage the situations calmly. Alex became the de facto leader of these small responses. When a crate lifted by a drone tilted dangerously, he ran and caught it before it fell. When a small vehicle was nudged into a fence, he steadied it and rearranged the tools inside it. He worked quickly, effortlessly, and with calm confidence. The aliens watched in surprise. Most humans would have panicked at the sudden movements of these strange machines. But Alex seemed to anticipate each action before it happened. His movements were precise, and his understanding of weight, force, and balance was exceptional. "They are more resilient than we thought," the taller observer said. Its reflective eyes followed Alex as he carried a stack of heavy metal sheets. "And this one, he does not fear. He adapts. He strategizes." The alien companion murmured, a tone of something almost like amusement in its voice. "Cute, yes, but dangerous in ways we did not expect." By midday, the aliens decided to escalate their tests. They sent a larger drone, one with more strength and intelligence than the others, into the main square. It hovered above a set of heavy crates, then attempted to move them in a way that would block the main path. Alex watched carefully. He understood the purpose immediately. The aliens wanted to see how humans would react under pressure. Without hesitation, he approached the drone. He extended his hands, careful not to make sudden movements that could provoke it. He analyzed the weight of the crates, the force of the drone, and the best way to handle the situation. Then, with a careful push and lift, he adjusted the crates, balancing them perfectly while keeping the pathway clear for the townspeople. The drone hovered, uncertain. It had not expected such precise control over heavy objects from a human. The townspeople whispered among themselves. Some were amazed, some were frightened, but all were inspired. If Alex could respond to these strange, powerful machines with calm intelligence, perhaps humans were more capable than they had ever realized. The aliens, however, were growing uneasy. They had underestimated the humans, particularly Alex. He was not just clever, he was strong, resourceful, and calm under pressure. Their tests, designed to intimidate, had revealed that these small creatures could adapt quickly, solve problems creatively, and act as a team. The day continued with a series of challenges. The aliens lifted larger crates, nudged vehicles, and even tested the humans' reaction to small, harmless energy pulses that brushed against metal surfaces. Each time, Alex and the townspeople responded with creativity and coordination. They used ropes, levers, and simple machines to redirect the forces, protect their neighbors, and even learn more about the alien technology. Alex moved among them, instructing silently through gestures and example. Use balance, he showed one young worker as he shifted a crate slightly. Use leverage, don't fight the force, redirect it. The aliens observed, growing increasingly puzzled. These humans, these fragile-looking beings, were not only surviving, they were learning, adapting, and sometimes even countering their tests. Alex in particular was extraordinary. He lifted objects larger than any other human could manage, arranged defenses, and moved with a confidence that suggested he was never truly threatened. By afternoon, the aliens decided to take a more direct approach. One of the smaller ships lowered itself near the main square, extending a platform. The ambassador stepped forward, moving carefully but with authority. The humans froze. No one had come so close before. Alex stepped forward as well. He did not speak, but his stance was clear. He was ready to defend his people if necessary. The alien extended a slender hand toward him, and a faint blue light formed in the air between them. It was an invitation, a silent test. Alex studied it carefully. He understood that the alien was curious, not hostile. Yet this was more than just curiosity, it was a challenge. He could see the subtle ways the light tested balance, strength, and reflexes. Without hesitation, he lifted a nearby metal crate, holding it easily, and shifted it to the side. The light adjusted, and he responded again, moving with precision and control. The alien observer tilted its head, intrigued. This one, he is not only strong. He understands the principles behind the force. He anticipates. He adapts. He strategizes. Other townspeople watched in awe. They had never seen anyone respond to alien technology with such skill and calm. Alex's movements were almost effortless, yet each adjustment showed thought and intelligence. As the sun began to set, the aliens withdrew, hovering above the colony without making further contact. The humans let out a collective sigh of relief, but the energy in the air had changed. Something fundamental had shifted. The aliens were no longer confident in their superiority. They had assumed that humans were weak, fragile, and cute. But the day's events had proven otherwise. Alex stood at the edge of the square, looking up at the ships. "You think you understand us," he said quietly, almost to the wind. "You think we're small and fragile. You call us cute, but you don't know anything yet. You have no idea what we can do." The aliens inside their ships communicated again. "We have misjudged them," the taller one admitted. "They are small, but they possess resilience, creativity, and strength beyond our expectations. The human called Alex, he is remarkable." "Yes," the smaller one replied. "We underestimated their intelligence combined with instinct and physical capability. We must proceed carefully." That night, the colony of New Haven was alive with conversation. Families gathered around tables, discussing the day's events. Children whispered excitedly about the strange machines in the sky, and adults shared observations of the humans' clever solutions. Alex moved quietly among them, checking for repairs, encouraging calm, and helping wherever he could. He paused near the hill on the edge of town, looking down at the colony bathed in moonlight. "They think they can test us," he said softly. "They think they can understand us, but strength isn't just muscle, it's intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. And we have all of that and more." The silver ships hovered silently above, their lights reflecting on the calm streets. The aliens continued their silent observation, noting the humans' resilience, ingenuity, and teamwork. Their conclusion was clear. These creatures were not to be underestimated. And as Alex walked back into the heart of the colony, he carried not just tools and strength, but a quiet confidence. The humans of New Haven had survived the first tests. They had proven themselves clever, strong, and adaptable. and one human in particular had shown the aliens that what they called cute could, in fact, be formidable beyond imagination. Above the town, the stars began to shine brightly. The aliens watched, unsure of what would come next, and Alex, standing tall among his people, knew that the real challenge was only beginning. The aliens had assumed weakness, they had assumed fragility, and they had called humans cute. But Alex and the humans of New Haven were ready to show that those assumptions were not just wrong, they were dangerous to hold. The sky over New Haven was heavy with silver ships. The morning sun glinted off their smooth surfaces, making the colony feel smaller than it had ever been. The humans had grown used to the constant observation, but the tension in the air was palpable. The aliens' silent tests had escalated over the past days, and it was clear that they were preparing for something more serious. Alex stood at the edge of the square, looking up at the hovering fleet. His hands rested on a metal beam he had picked up for practice the night before, his body relaxed but ready. The townspeople gathered around him, whispering quietly. Children clung to their parents, and adults exchanged anxious glances. "They're going to push harder today," Alex said calmly. "They've already tested us. Now they want to see how far we can go." A small drone detached from the main ship and hovered low over the square. Unlike the previous tests, this one carried small energy disruptors along its sides. It moved in a deliberate pattern, cutting off access to key parts of the town. Alex observed the drone carefully. He knew its purpose immediately: intimidation. The aliens wanted to see if humans would break, panic, or fight. He signaled to a group of workers, and together they began to move obstacles into positions that would slow the drone's path. Using simple levers, ropes, and pulleys, they redirected the drone's movements without touching it directly. The aliens watched in growing disbelief. Most humans would have panicked, but Alex and his team moved with precision, intelligence, and calm. The drone adjusted its flight, but the humans had already anticipated the change, shifting their defenses smoothly. "Remarkable," murmured the taller observer. "They do not just respond, they anticipate, they counter. This human, he is extraordinary." "Yes," replied the smaller one. "They are cute, but deceptively strong. They adapt faster than any species we have seen." By midday, the aliens escalated further. Two smaller ships descended into the colony square, landing just outside the central plaza. Their ramps extended and armored units stepped out, machines tall and menacing, equipped with energy cannons and reinforced plating. The humans froze, but Alex stepped forward. "Stay calm," he said. "We know what to do. Watch, learn, and act." He ran toward a nearby metal storage container, lifted it, and placed it in front of the town's water tower. Then he used a series of ropes and pulleys to create barriers and deflect potential energy blasts. He ran back to the square, helping neighbors move obstacles into positions that would slow the advancing machines. The aliens, watching from above, began to murmur nervously. They had assumed humans would be weak, fragile, and easily intimidated. But Alex and his people were proving that assumption wrong. Each human movement was calculated, each response clever, and each adjustment showed not just strength but strategy. The armored units advanced cautiously, scanning the area with energy sensors. Alex picked up a heavy metal beam, heavier than any human should be able to lift, and placed it across the path of one approaching unit. With a grunt, he lifted a nearby container and stacked it to reinforce the blockade. The machine stopped, analyzing the obstacles, while Alex and the humans adjusted their defenses even further. The townspeople began to find courage in Alex's actions. They started moving debris, using carts, ropes, and pulleys to create barriers, all under his calm direction. Even the children contributed by gathering smaller objects that could be used to trigger alarms or redirect the machines. The aliens observed with growing unease. "They are strong, organized, clever," one murmured. "We thought they were cute and harmless. But they fight with their minds and their bodies combined. This is unexpected." Alex noticed the aliens hesitating. Their confidence was slipping. He realized that this was the moment to show the full extent of human capability. He ran toward one of the machines that had become stalled by the barriers, lifted a heavy container, and pushed it directly onto the armored unit. The machine groaned under the impact but did not topple. Alex grinned. "Not enough," he muttered. Then, spotting an old transport tank parked at the edge of the colony, he ran toward it. Its metal frame was massive, heavy enough that no ordinary human could lift it alone. But Alex, he gripped it, flexed his arms, and slowly lifted it off the ground. The townspeople gasped. Even the aliens paused, unsure if their sensors were accurate. Alex carried the tank a few steps and set it down strategically, using it to block another advancing machine. The impact sent a small shockwave through the plaza, and the aliens' armored units recoiled. "Impossible," whispered one observer. "No creature of this size should be able to lift such mass, yet he does it effortlessly." The other observer nodded. "They are not what we assumed, they are formidable." Alex continued to act with precision, lifting heavy crates, redirecting vehicles, and positioning obstacles to slow the machines while protecting the townspeople. The humans began to coordinate instinctively, following his example. Adults worked together to create barriers, children ran messages between groups, and even the older workers helped with lifting and redirecting debris. The aliens decided to test the humans further. One of the larger ships descended, hovering just above the plaza. It released multiple drones, each equipped with small energy disruptors and reinforced claws. The drones moved quickly, attempting to push the humans into panic. Alex acted immediately. He signaled the townspeople to form lines, creating defensive positions with carts, containers, and metal sheets. He lifted a massive container, balancing it in a way that redirected the energy beams harmlessly into the open ground. The drones hesitated, unsure how to respond to such coordinated action. The humans were not only defending, they were learning from the attacks. Each move of the alien drones was observed, analyzed, and countered in real time. The humans adapted faster than the aliens expected, using clever leverage, teamwork, and strategy to neutralize each threat. Alex noticed a drone attempting to flank the group. Without hesitation, he grabbed a long metal pipe, swung it with precision, and struck the drone, knocking it off balance. The townspeople cheered, inspired by his actions. Even the smallest humans contributed, tossing small objects to distract the machines and create openings. The aliens, watching in astonishment, began to retreat slightly. Their armored units were stalled, their drones disabled or neutralized, and their confidence shaken. They had expected easy dominance, but the humans were proving resilient, clever, and unexpectedly strong. Alex took advantage of the moment. He lifted another heavy crate, using it to block a group of drones and create a protective barrier for the townspeople. Then he ran toward the stalled armored units, directing the humans to use levers and pulleys to destabilize their balance. Within moments, the machines were immobilized. The townspeople erupted in cheers. They had not just survived, they had fought back, using intelligence, teamwork, and courage. Alex looked around at his neighbors, proud but calm. "Good work," he said. "We've shown them we're not helpless, but stay alert. This is only the beginning." The alien observers communicated quietly. "We misjudged them," the taller one admitted. "We thought they were fragile, cute, harmless, but they are clever, strong, and adaptable." The human Alex, he is extraordinary. "Yes," replied the smaller one. "We cannot underestimate them. They have shown strategy, physical strength, and resilience beyond expectation. This is dangerous. We must reconsider our approach." As the sun set, the ships withdrew slightly, hovering at a distance. The humans of New Haven were exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced the first real challenge and survived, turning what could have been panic into a display of ingenuity and strength. Alex walked among them, checking on injuries, repairing small damages, and helping wherever needed. The townspeople looked at him with admiration, realizing that his calm confidence and quick thinking had guided them through an impossible situation. He paused at the edge of the square, lifting a small container effortlessly to adjust a barricade. "They thought we were cute," he said quietly. "They thought we were weak, but strength, real strength, comes from courage, intelligence, and teamwork, and we have all of that." The stars began to shine over New Haven. The alien ships hovered silently, their sensors recording every detail, their observers whispering among themselves. They had underestimated humanity, and the lesson was clear. Humans were not fragile. They were formidable, clever, and unpredictable. And Alex had become the symbol of that unexpected strength. The humans of New Haven had survived the first true confrontation, and they had shown the aliens that what they called cute could be powerful beyond imagination. The night was calm, but the tension lingered. The aliens had learned a lesson in humility, and the humans had discovered the full measure of their courage and ingenuity. The stage was set for what would come next, a test that would push both humans and aliens to their limits. Above the colony, the silver ships shimmered in the starlight. One observer whispered again, "Cute, yes, but strength, hidden strength, we must proceed carefully." And Alex, standing tall among his people, smiled quietly. The battle had been won, but the war of understanding and respect was only beginning. The morning sky over New Haven shimmered with the silver hulls of the alien ships, reflecting the early sunlight. The colony was quiet but tense, knowing that today would be different. The aliens had tested them repeatedly, probing their limits, and Alex had proven the humans' strength, intelligence, and courage. But the fleet hovering above seemed to signal a new phase, one that could not be ignored. Alex stood at the edge of the town square, looking up at the ships. His hands rested on the metal beam he had carried yesterday, muscles still tense from lifting and maneuvering massive objects. Around him, the townspeople prepared quietly, setting up barricades, reinforcing structures, and testing defensive systems they had improvised over the last days. "They've learned a lot," Alex said softly to himself. "But we've learned more. Stay calm, stay sharp. And remember, we fight smart, not just strong." From the largest ship, the alien ambassador emerged, floating down on a smooth ramp. It moved with deliberate elegance, scanning the colony as its companions hovered nearby. The humans froze, but Alex stepped forward, confident and unafraid. The townspeople looked to him for guidance. The aliens began their first formal approach. A series of drones moved in formations, this time carrying stronger energy pulses and armored plating. Their movements were precise, designed to overwhelm and intimidate. But the humans were ready. They had spent the last days studying alien patterns, learning how the machines moved, and anticipating their next steps. Alex coordinated the town's response with quiet authority. "Use balance," he instructed, lifting a heavy container to redirect a drone's path. "Leverage and teamwork. Don't fight them head-on, use your brains." Adults moved crates and carts strategically, children relayed messages, and older workers used ropes and levers to create improvised barriers. Every action was calculated, every movement precise. The aliens paused, observing carefully. They had assumed humans were fragile, small, and easy to intimidate. But here, in the heart of New Haven, they saw humans who could think, adapt, and fight back intelligently. And at the center of it all was Alex, effortlessly lifting and moving objects far beyond any ordinary human's capability. The battle began in earnest. The drones swooped in, energy pulses cutting through the air. Humans dodged, redirected, and countered using their improvised tools. Alex lifted massive crates to block attacks, then moved them again to create openings for his neighbors. One of the armored units advanced, only to find its path blocked by a perfectly balanced barricade of metal containers. Alex ran forward, swung a reinforced beam, and knocked a drone off its flight path, sending it tumbling harmlessly to the ground. The townspeople cheered quietly, inspired by his courage and precision. Even the children took part, throwing small objects to distract the machines or trigger minor malfunctions in drones. It was chaos controlled by intelligence, courage, and teamwork. The aliens watched, stunned. "They are stronger than expected," murmured the taller observer. "And clever, every move coordinated, we misjudged them." "Yes," the smaller observer replied. "Cute, yes, but dangerous, unpredictable, we must reconsider our approach." Alex spotted one of the larger armored units advancing toward the central plaza. It was reinforced, nearly impossible for ordinary humans to stop. Without hesitation, he ran toward it, assessing the terrain and the objects around him. His eyes landed on the colony's old transport tank, long unused but still intact. He grinned. "Time to remind them," he muttered. With a deep breath, he gripped the edges of the tank. Slowly, carefully, he lifted it, muscles straining but determination unshakable. The townspeople gasped. Even the aliens paused mid-motion, sensors struggling to register what they were seeing. Alex carried the tank a few steps, maneuvering it to block the armored unit's path completely. The impact sent a small shockwave through the plaza, and the alien machines stopped, their sensors and programming unable to predict such strength combined with strategic placement. The humans seized the opportunity. With Alex leading, they redirected drones, moved heavy objects to create traps, and used ropes and levers to immobilize other armored units. The aliens tried to adapt, but the humans' creativity and teamwork outpaced their calculations. Every movement, every adjustment was precise. Every human acted as if guided by Alex's calm authority. The aliens hovered, observing in growing awe. "We underestimated them," said the taller one. "They are powerful beyond measure. This one, Alex, he is remarkable." "Yes," said the smaller observer. "We have called them cute, but we were wrong. They are formidable, clever, unpredictable. We must respect them." By midday, the aliens realized their initial approach had failed. The humans were not only defending, they were winning. Their coordinated responses, combined with Alex's strength and intelligence, had neutralized nearly every drone and armored unit without causing any casualties. The aliens' confidence was shattered. Alex lifted another heavy crate, moving it to protect a group of townspeople from a minor energy pulse. He signaled others to form defensive positions, redirecting machines and clearing safe paths. The humans worked together seamlessly, turning every challenge into an opportunity. Finally, the alien ambassador raised its arms, signaling a pause. The drones halted and the armored units froze in place. The humans stood ready, but the sense of imminent danger had passed. The aliens hovered silently, observing with cautious respect. Alex lowered the metal crate he had been holding and looked around at his people. They were exhausted but alive, and their eyes shone with pride and relief. He smiled quietly. "Good work," he said. "We've shown them who we are, but remember, strength is not just muscle, it's courage, intelligence, and unity." The aliens communicated among themselves in their musical tones. "We must acknowledge our error," the taller one said. "These creatures are not weak, fragile, or cute. They possess strength, strategy, and ingenuity beyond expectation. Humanity is formidable." "Yes," replied the smaller observer. "We will not underestimate them again. Their courage, intelligence, and resourcefulness demand respect." And that human, Alex, has become the symbol of their hidden strength. As the sun began to set, the silver ships slowly ascended and hovered above the colony at a respectful distance. The humans of New Haven had survived the first true test, proving themselves clever, adaptable, and strong. They had turned the aliens' assumptions upside down, demonstrating that what was called cute could, in fact, be powerful beyond imagination. Alex walked among the townspeople, checking on injuries, repairing small damages, and offering quiet encouragement. The people looked at him with admiration and gratitude. His calm, strategic leadership had guided them through the impossible, showing that courage and intelligence could outmatch even the most advanced technology. Later, standing on the hill overlooking the colony, Alex watched the alien ships shimmering against the twilight sky. "They think they understand us," he whispered. "They think they've seen our limits, but they have only just begun to see what humans are capable of. We're not cute, we're strong, clever, and united." The alien observers remained in silent orbit, recording every detail. They had witnessed humans act with intelligence, courage, and physical prowess beyond their expectations. They had seen one human lift a tank effortlessly, direct a community with calm authority, and coordinate a defense that neutralized advanced machines. Respect had been earned, not demanded, and the lesson was clear. One of the aliens finally spoke aloud, its voice carrying a musical tone that resonated across the plaza. "We came to observe, we came to test, we assumed weakness, but we were wrong. Humans are not to be underestimated, and the one you call Alex, he embodies their strength, ingenuity, and courage." Alex smiled faintly, nodding. He knew the battle had been won, but the greater victory was understanding. Humanity had shown the galaxy that size, fragility, or appearances were not measures of power. Strength came from courage, intelligence, and unity, and humans had all three in abundance. As night fell, the stars filled the sky above New Haven. The colony lights twinkled below, reflecting the determination and resilience of its people. The aliens hovered silently, no longer testing or challenging. They had learned that humans were formidable, and they would not make the mistake of underestimating them again. Alex stood tall among his people, the symbol of their unexpected power. He looked at the stars, imagining the vast universe beyond, knowing that humanity had earned a reputation that would spread far and wide. The humans of New Haven were no longer just survivors. They were clever, courageous, and strong. And the aliens had learned a truth they would never forget. Never judge a species by its size, its appearance, or its quiet confidence. Humans were capable of greatness, and the galaxy would soon know it. Above the colony, the silver ships shimmered against the night sky. One observer whispered again, "Cute, yes, but strength, hidden strength. We must respect them." Alex, standing amid his people, smiled quietly to himself. They had survived, they had triumphed, and the story of New Haven and the human named Alex would be told across the stars. The humans had shown that what was called cute could, in fact, lift a tank, turn the tide of battle, and earn the respect of an entire alien fleet. The adventure was far from over, but for now, humanity had proven itself. And the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget.